you know, when a patient is coming to the ICU, he is exposed to lots of germs, bacteria, viruses, funguses, all of that. And then we have to protect the patient's interest from in the hospital so as to avoid the hospital acquired infection. What is infection control? Infection control means prevention, identification and restriction of the hospital acquired infection in the patient who are admitted to our ICUs. That is, we should develop an intellectual ability as we see bacteria, flies, mosquitoes everywhere around us in the normal eyes. From our virtual or intellectual eyes, we should be capable of handling, visualizing the germs present all around us. My hands are carrying germs. The patient, another patient in nearby is carrying different type of bacteria and viruses and so many infections. So we should be able to visualize everywhere there are bugs, and we have to prevent them to sending to the patient in addition to his already existing disease. Historically, the hand washing was demonstrated and concept of nosocomial. What is nosocomial infection? Infection acquired from the hospital which patient was not having before coming to the hospital, was understood in year 1847. Then isolation precautions were implemented in 1877. As you might have heard, that patients were sent to the sanatoriums. That is, the patients who are having a dangerous infections were isolated from all other normal patients or individuals. Then barrier nursing means you just isolate the patient. For example, patient having rabies was to be isolated in a separate room. That was started somewhere in 1910. And there is a barrier nursing. Patient, the doctors, nurses used to put gowns, gloves, mask, etc. And the concept of disinfection also started somewhere in the early 20th century. Infection control as a specialized or entity was recognized in mid 1950s, and in 1985 it was universal precautions concept was started because of HIV, hepatitis B viruses, blood-borne pathogens, etc. Now, there are so many definitions which are involved in the infection control, and we must understand what these terms means. For example, sterilization. Sterilization means making an article completely free of microbes, including the spores, like autoclaving and ETO sterilization, where you keep the separate articles draped which are completely free of all types of microorganisms, including the spores. Disinfection is the many pathogens are killed because of disinfection by chemical solutions, but the spores may remain on the objects in spite of the disinfection. That is the difference between sterilization and disinfection. Am I clear? Could you understand? Now, antiseptic. Antiseptics are the solution applied on the living organism or living persons or the on surfaces of the live surfaces to kill the microorganisms. For example, hand scrubs. These are usually alcohol containing, and we remove the grossly the microorganisms. May not be all the spores may not be killed. Cleaning is just simply removal of washing hands or cleaning the surface, means the visible dirt, dust and are removed by the cleaning. And decontamination is removal of the microorganism from the non-living surfaces. Inanimate articles are made safe to use, and there can be things which are discarded. For example, you are using a syringe which has a blood on it, and there may be many microorganisms over it. That also has to be decontaminated before throwing it out. Otherwise, you will spread the infection in the society. Am I clear? Now, why it is important to have infection control? Because if a patient is admitted for some disease and he gets some another severe infection that increases the mortality, why should an ICU infection to be prevented? Because a patient who is admitted with some disease gets another over it increases mortality of the patient. The number of patient dying in the ICU will be more. It increases the morbidity. Patient will have to stay more in the hospital. He will have to spend lot of money, or the government has to strike, and there are chances of multi-drug resistance pathogens, because one patient is harboring, another is also getting different antibiotics, and they develop the resistance which may not be we may not be able to kill with our routine antibiotics. And it prevents the loss of accreditation, means the hospital reputation also is at stake. These are the causes why it is necessary to prevent hospital acquired infection. Suppose a patient gets pneumonia in the ICU. If he gets pneumonia in the ICU, he may need to stay maybe 7 to 30 days extra, and it will incur a lot of cost to the patient or the resources or the government. Similarly, if urinary tract infection, patient may need to stay in the ICU maybe 1 to 4 days, and this is surgical site infection. These all causes increase in the hospital stay, increase in the morbidity, deterioration in patient's condition. Likewise, so it is always essential to prevent the hospital acquired infection. Why? How it occurs actually? You know, the ICUs are so cluttered. There are different positions. One may be having a pneumonia, Acinetobacter, another may be having some urinary tract infection, or there are nurses, attendants, they are coming together, one touches one patient, go to the another, may go to third. Likewise, if this circle goes on, all the patient will get all type of infection. Reasons are they are having IV parenteral nutrition, which is a source of infection. Parenteral nutrition has proteins, lipids and glucose, which is a good media for growth of the bacteria and other microbes. Patients are usually sick cluttered in a smaller area. There are less number of nursing staff available because they need a trained staff. They may not be well trained, and there can be problems with the infection control. And there are so many other reasons. Indiscriminate use of antibiotic. If you are using higher end of antibiotic, there are times then all the bacteria may become resistant, and you will not be able to treat your patients. Then more patients are in the ventilation. In ICU, patients remain for a longer time and they harbor more and more resistant bacteria and viruses. So what is to be required? You should use antibiotic. It increases mortality and inadequate treatment because of multiple drug resistance and hospital acquired infection. So you should. And if there is increase in concern, there are more resistant bacteria, more rodents, and so we have to make a balance. So the antibiotics should be used judiciously depending upon the patient's requirement, patient's hospital biogram, patient's culture reports. Not just blindly you give all the antibiotic to thinking that patient will be okay sooner. That is a wrong protocol. You have to use antibiotic in a protocol based manner. What are the sources of infection in ICU? Number one and the most common is hands of the staff and attendant. One nursing staff is going to one, then through second and to third patient, that may carry a dangerous infection from 1 to 2, 3, 4, and maybe the whole of the patient, all the patient may get infection. Then equipments, because equipments are also having the pockets where the bacteria can grow and they can multiply and then they may be transmitted to the patient, like assisted ventilation, suction drainage. Suction drainage are having blood secretion which are already harboring microorganism, and if they stay in your circuits, they may cause multiplication of the microorganism and more infection. IV line, urinary catheters, wounds, disinfected containers, your jars are lying without cleaning for a long time, that can also generate lots of bacteria and viruses. Dressing trolleys, phones and computer. Phones and computers are very bad source of, because we never consider our phone can be infectious. I am going to a patient, then I will receive a call, then I may go to another patient and receive another call, and likewise we can cause cross infection across the patient, and we should be very cautious. The chain of infection is bacteria, generally by contact transmission in susceptible patient. Viruses usually are airborne. Parasites by the droplets, funguses. Then the reservoirs of pathogens, colonized infection patients, as we have already told, these are the areas which can cause different type of microorganism to grow. Now, infection in ICU may be types of infection which patient can get from the hospital. Acquired infection are pneumonia, which are ventilator associated or non-ventilator associated, bloodstream infection, surgical site infection, lower respiratory infection, skin necrosis, bad sores, wound infection, all can be precipitated by infection from the ICU. What can we do? We know how these infections are spreading. What can we do? How can we prevent to reduce the hospital acquired infection? Most important part is hand hygiene. When I am going to one patient to the another, we should clean we should wash our hand. Every time we are touching the patient, we should clean our hand. We are touching another patient, we should clean our hand. We are doing procedures, we should hand hygiene of all the staff, all persons coming to the ICU. Before entering ICU, coming to the patient contact, any invasive procedure, we should clean our hands thoroughly, and use of multi-dose vials. Before using a vial, I am using one vial for one person, the same on the other. We should clean the vial, we should clean our disinfect the top of the vial, we should take another syringe. So likewise, there are so many things which we can do and we can prevent. Before hygiene, hand hygiene and disinfection of all these areas is extremely important in preventing hospital acquired infection. How we should wash our hand, you all must be aware, because this is the routinely we are doing. There are 6 steps of hand hygiene. You should clean back of your hand, front of your fingers, in between your fingers. You should wash your thumbs, nails and all. This you already know, but you should always take this precaution while taking care of the patient. What is the problem? Because if hand hygiene, we don't have time, we can use alcohol based hand rubs. Every time we cannot wash hands, it is not possible, then when we can use. Now this is okay, enough for today. Tomorrow we will discuss further about the infection control in the ICU. Am I clear? Everybody is clear? Tomorrow we can deal with it. What are the methods to prevent the infection control? Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.